Hey guys, after a couple of weeks of primo weather, we're finally having a bit of a morbid, grey, cold day. So I thought I'd take the time to make another tutorial about a piece of gear which I think is so important, but is not talked about nearly enough. And that is an app called PhotoPills. Now PhotoPills is a planning app. And no matter what you shoot outdoors, you're most likely going to find a use for this app. You can track where the sun is at any given time, which is awesome for planning sunsets, sunrises, or even just the position of the sun during your day at a wedding and what the lighting is kind of going to look like at any given time of the year. And same goes with the Milky Way. You can figure out the position when it rises, when it sets, same with the moon. Now there's two ways of going ahead and planning things. The first way is on-site planning. So you rock up to a location and you're like, well, I want to know where the sun is going to set. And there is an awesome way of doing that. So when you're on site, you can open up your app and you click on sun. It gives you a bunch of information on when the sun sets, when the sun rises, all that kind of thing. And you can click on AR. AR is augmented reality. So that's going to show you a visual of what your phone is seeing. It also overlays the information which you want to know, for example, where the sun is going to rise. So I can drag this and see the position of the sun as it moves through the sky at certain times. The same works for the night sky. Now we're going to go into night AR, and what you'll see there is the Milky Way's core. You can rotate forward and back to see how it changes over time. Now this is awesome for finding a great composition of the night sky. Now if you're still unsure on why you would actually need to plan for a photo, go onto PhotoPills' Instagram and go check out some of the photos that other people have shot using PhotoPills to plan. So inspirational, well worth a look. It's pretty mind-blowing some of the shots people have got, and would not be possible without PhotoPills. This photo behind me is actually one that I shot using PhotoPills to plan when the Milky Way would arch over Lion's Rock, one of many that I've planned using PhotoPills. So augmented reality is perfect when you've rocked up to a location already and you want to see what it's going to look like in the future. Now a slightly better way of planning is planning in the future, working out the shot you want to take ahead of time and working out the perfect time for that shot to be taken. For example, you might have wanted a full moon to rise exactly perfectly over the sky tower in the city. Now that's where the app really shines. You can go into the planner section of the app and you can work out the angles of where the sun will rise and set at any given time of the year. Now the angle of the sunrise and sunset moves gradually throughout the year and changes. With the app you can work out the exact day, the exact time that's going to work, or multiple times when it might work throughout the year. I'll show you how this works. Okay, so here's the planner section of the app. Now what you're seeing here is a representation of where the sun will set, where the sun will rise, where the moon will set, and where the moon will rise, and the Milky Way's position throughout the night. Now if you drag this timeline back and forth, what you're seeing there is the Milky Way moving throughout the evening. And as you get towards dawn, you see the colors change, which means that you'll no longer be able to see that Milky Way anymore. This is the sunrise time. Now you'll see this line moving throughout the screen, and that line is the sun's position throughout the day. So you can work out that exact angle. Now, say we want to work out the position of the sunrise in 3 months' time and work out exactly where it's going to rise. We can go into the planner section and we can click on our timeline here. We can change this date to July, click done, and this is going to show us the position of the sunrise in July. I use this all the time for both my landscape photos but also for weddings. Often I'm location scouting months in advance and the sun is going to be in a different position at a different time of the day to when I'm actually location scouting. So I can bring out this app and I can work out exactly where the sun is going to be on the date of this wedding, and that means that I can plan and work out where the light is going to be absolute best, and I don't have to just kind of guess it and hope for the best. Now this app has way too much to go through. There are so many tools and it's always a treat learning something new that it actually does. The last thing I do want to talk about is actually the exposure tool. I like to shoot things like glowworms, which require an extremely long exposure, sometimes like up to 10 minutes long. It kind of sucks if you're doing a 10-minute exposure and then you work out your photo is way too dark or way too bright, and then you have to take another 10-minute exposure to try and improve the settings a little bit until eventually 2 hours later you've got the perfect exposure. There is a tool that'll calculate the perfect exposure for what you want to shoot. Jumping into the app, we have this exposure tool here. Now we can take a test shot with an extremely high ISO, so it'll be super grainy, but that's okay. As long as we can get the perfect amount of light in, we can put these details into the app and we can calculate what settings to put in for a longer exposure time. So now we're gonna put in, say, an exposure time of 10 seconds. That's nice and easy to calculate. And an aperture of 1.4, that's the lowest my lens will go. Okay, so these settings might be perfect. I might have taken a test shot that's 10 seconds long. I'm like, okay, cool, that exposure is great. But I don't want to shoot at 1.4, I want a lower aperture. I want the ISO to be much lower. So it shows us the equivalent settings. I want my ISO to be an absolute maximum of 400. I'm like, okay, I actually want a little bit more in focus, so I'm gonna go f2.8, and now it shows me, in order to get that same exposure using these settings which are ideal, I have to have a shutter speed of 21 minutes. So that's how long the photo has to be. Now I would have had to spend hours trying to play around and get the perfect exposure. So being able to work out the equivalent settings and getting that exposure perfect is so ideal. There's a lot more tools than I can cover in one video, but 100% if you shoot anything outdoors, anything that requires planning, this app is so worth it. It's only $10, so it's not a huge investment. It's not a subscription. You've got it once, you've got it forever. Amazing tool just to have in your back pocket all the time. Now, one other thing which makes things super easy is you can add widgets to your phone, which means that you can just swipe to the side and right there at the top of my list of widgets, I can quickly see, okay, the sun's rising at 6:46 a.m. The sun is setting at 5:57. The Milky Way rises at 8:54, and I've got all that information without even having to enter the app, which is super easy and super convenient. Now, I really encourage you to download this app, give it a try. I promise you'll find more than one use for it. Super good, super cheap. Anyway, cheers for watching. Much appreciated. Have a good day.